we can do is our best. And sometimes the best that we can do is to start over.
I keep telling everybody they should move on. Some do, but not us. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
Let's go, everyone. We have a new Avengers Endgame trailer. It dropped online, and we are ready to break it down, talking about all the things that we finally learned in what I assume is going to be our final look at Avengers Endgame before it hits theaters on April 26th. It didn't show a ton, but it showed enough that we have a lot to talk about, so let's dive into it. But before we do me a favor, go down, hit subscribe. We are covering the daylights out of everything Marvel, and you don't want to miss any videos that we post. The first time that I actually screamed at the screen in excitement was when we saw that Tony Stark reunites with the team. And listen, we all knew this was basically going to happen. Tony was not going to die in space as he's floating recording these really sad messages to Pepper Potts. But seeing him walking alongside of the surviving members of the Avengers as a member of the team as they are reuniting and about to retaliate against Thanos got me so super pumped up. You know, because it shows that there's going to be a Tony and Cap reunion scene. They've sort of been at odds since Captain America Civil War. Again, Tony in Infinity War went off with a half of a group to go fight Thanos and on his home planet, so he never really was part of the Battle of Wakanda, and we have not seen him alongside the other Avengers in several films. So seeing him walking alongside Black Widow, Cap, War Machine was unbelievably great. Let's talk about the scene where we actually see Tony walking with the team and emphasize the fact that they are all wearing brand new suits, and we kind of knew this was going to happen because of a toy line that spoiled a graphic of the surviving members of the Avengers wearing these brand new suits. Now, what we don't know is the impact of these suits, because initially I assumed that these primarily white with red accent Avengers suits, they definitely have the big A on them, that the members are wearing as they're walking through the Avengers facility, were space suits. I kind of thought that they were going to get into some kind of a spacecraft and maybe bring the fight right to Thanos' doorstep. However, there's a theory that's sort of going around that they could actually be quantum realm suits. And that's not out of the realm of possibility. I hate myself for saying that, but yes, that is the pun that I'm going to go with. Maybe Hank Pym designed some of these suits. Maybe when Scott comes out of the quantum realm, there's secrets inside there that he needs the other Avengers to see. Perhaps that feeds into the time travel aspect that many of us expect Avengers Endgame to have, but we don't know 100% if that's really going to happen. The final scene that shows up in the trailer comes after the title, and if you haven't seen Captain Marvel yet, it's going to be a really big surprise. But if you did see Captain Marvel, you know that at the very end, she meets the Avengers. Well, this is finally now an official reveal in an Avengers Endgame trailer that's a kind of a cute sort of test of her bravery as Thor summons a Stormbreaker. She doesn't even bat an eye, so Thor comes to the summation that he actually likes Captain Marvel and is willing to fight by her side. It's great to see Brie Larson alongside the team. We learned in the mid-credit sequence of Captain Marvel that the way that they summon her is by using the pager that Nick Fury left behind as he dusted. They sort of boost the signal of it. They keep it going. It turns off in the mid-credit sequence of Captain Marvel. And when Scarlett Johansson says she wants to know who's on the other end of that reception, Captain Marvel is standing behind them and wants to know where Nick Fury is. So we see her out of her outfit. Her hair is much longer. She's in casual clothes, probably helping the Avengers figure out what their next steps are going to be, but we can now confirm that Brie Larson is going to be a major part of Avengers Endgame. I'm giving this trailer a lot of credit for all the things that it's hiding, and one major character that we think is going to be super important to Avengers Endgame has not been in the marketing at all, and that's the Hulk. We do see Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner, so the character is in it. He was in the mid-credit sequence for Captain Marvel, and he shows up in this new trailer for Avengers Endgame. But so far, no Hulk at all, and that's, I guess, not so surprising, because at the end of Avengers Infinity War, Hulk was too scared to show up, and Bruce Banner basically said to him, like, we have to figure this out, dude, because I need your help as we're going to continue this fight against Thanos. But Hulk is still playing a little bit shy, and so I thought maybe that we would get at least one shot of Hulk as he's going to appear in Avengers Endgame. And again, in that toy sort of illustration, one of the heroes who was wearing the white and red new suits was Hulk in full Hulk form wearing the outfit. So again, I'm assuming that we're going to see him. Sort of building off that point about we haven't seen Hulk at all in any of this footage, I want to mention the fact that we haven't seen any of the dusted characters at all. And not that I expected them to be featured prominently in the new trailer, because somehow the movie has to explain how they're coming back. But the more I see of Avengers Endgame marketing makes me think, and especially an official poster that dropped that had all of the faces of the surviving members as they mount their vengeance mission against Thanos, it makes me think that the majority of this movie may end up just being the survivors as they decide how they're going to bring the battle to Thanos throughout the course of Endgame. And in a way, that makes some sense, because when you pay attention to who survived, it's the primary founding members of the Avengers. It's Hawkeye, it's Black Widow, it's Hulk, it's Captain America, and it's Iron Man. And if they are going to be the primary focus, and if this is going to be closure to a story that essentially started with Iron Man but built to its first big climax in the Avengers movie, then why wouldn't you want the emphasis of Endgame to be on those main characters who got us started? Now, of course, you will have Rocket Raccoon, you'll have Nebula, you will have Captain Marvel, but the absence of anybody who has been dusted so far seems to suggest that they may not show up until the very end of this movie, or at least the back half, as the surviving Avengers figure out how to bring Thanos back down and bring their loved ones back. One way that this trailer was able to get us really amped up without showing too much footage from Endgame is that they relied on old clips from the movies. And I love the fact that they emphasize more than anybody else Tony Stark and Steve Rogers, because they are the pillars of the MCU, and I think this movie is going to be a proper send-off to them. We see a lot of Tony from his first movie, where he's coming out of the cave in his initial Iron Man armor, him and Pepper, of course, and then on the Cap side, they emphasize a lot of his relationship with Peggy Carter, and I really have to believe that the movie is going to figure out a way to bring some closure to those two storylines. We are going to have so much to talk about with Avengers Endgame, and the good news is that the movie is almost here. It opens in theaters on April 26th. We don't have to wait too long for all of these questions to be answered and all of these major points that we just talked about to be addressed. Go down to the comments, tell us what else you loved about this new trailer. We love to interact with you guys about all things Marvel. Hit the subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and keep up to date with everything that we're doing here at CinemaBlend.